Alrighty, guys, thank you very much for joining us here for a Chair League Pro Division playoff match here in the round of 8. We've got Team R2 versus Miasma eSports, and I am joined by my good friend and teammate here on Divine 9, Reaper of War. Thank you very much for joining me tonight, Reaper.
Thanks for having me again, Jay. And I mean, we've got the 4th and 5th seed in the Pro Division coming out, and my money's on that we're going to see this series stretch all the way to the end.
Yeah, we haven't gotten the pleasure of seeing a Game 3 in the playoffs yet for any of our casts, but I think you're right. If anybody's going to take it to a Game 3, it's these two teams, both very good teams here out of the Pro Division, very evenly matched, at least on the scoreboard throughout the season. I've seen a lot of Miasma eSports. They are a very competent team, very well coordinated, and they were the runners-up, if I do remember correctly, in last season's championship match, losing only at the end to Brawls Deep, who of course is the reigning kings of all things Chair League right now. But Team R2 has also looked very, very good throughout the season. They've had a very, very good placing in that Pro Division and play with a lot of good synergy as well. These guys, and this is going to be Miasma eSports map pick here. We're going to be going to Battlefield of Eternity, my personal favorite map, Reaper.
So we're probably going to see maybe Vala picked up, Sylvanas, big heroes that can burn the Immortal quick. Some teams opt for the team fight, maybe defend first, but we're going to see some priority on a lot of these auto attackers here. Maybe even Lunara.
It looks like we still need a draft link for Miasma, possibly here. There we go. Okay, it's sent it over. Oh, I had sent it over to Team Captain Renal. He's actually just looks like he's just managing for this match, it would appear. But it does look like that has been sent over. And I think we should be pretty much good to go. Or maybe not. Not accepting messages. So I'll just send it through to every member until eventually it gets through to somebody. There we go. All right, and the draft is underway here. First pick, first ban, going over to Team R2. As this was, again, Miasma eSports map pick. What are you looking for here in a first ban, Reaper? What's the biggest priority that you want to deny if you're Team R2?
See, now they're probably going to look to take away a comfort pick from Miasma and then, take something away strong on the map. They could open up like that and take Malfurion or maybe something they're more comfortable on. So, very strong position banning first, because then you get what you want and you get to take away what they want as well. So,
see, Phantom Puppy is a fan of the Miasmas. That makes sense. A very popular team that we often see dabbling their way up into the pro play. But Alarak is going to be the first ban out here. So good, solid frontline presence. Good that CC can be really scary. A lot of teams not wanting to play against Alarak right now.
And I mean, with the pull-in and the multiple silences, he can be strong when played properly.
And especially when you're defending on this map, there's nothing worse than being telekinesis into one of those stun circles from the opponent's immortal. That can really be devastating. But look at this Sylvanas ban. Are we gonna see? We gotta see Samuru here, right? This has got to be a Samuru game.
And I'm interested to see. He has been banned twice lately, and I mean, we recently had a patch today coming out with some Samuru debuffs. So who knows?
So it is going to be Malfurion picked up here. Team R2 is going to go ahead and call the bluff from Miasma eSports, not worrying either about Samuru being played on the other side or just in general feeling like they can counter it. And they're going to go ahead and pick up the best support in the game currently, Malfurion. Though I'll tell you what, Reaper, he doesn't really lend himself to this map in any particular way. Moonfire can help him deal a little bit of extra damage to the Immortal, but it's really not much. There are other supports that can get a lot more value out of this map's mechanics in general.
And I mean, he took a little bit of a hit today, so we're unsure where Samuru and Malfurion land now, so it'll take a little bit to see where they land.
Meanwhile, Miasma is going to go ahead and pick up Muradin. He is well believed to be the best tank in the format now. And it's like you said in those patch notes earlier, Muradin got a little bit of a buff, which a lot of people don't really think he needs. He's plenty good as it is. But they are going to go ahead and pick up Vala. Like you said, they are definitely prioritizing getting that damage on the Immortal. And who better than the Demon Huntress herself, Vala?
Very strong. And I think they might look to pair with Ariel if they can pick her up. But it's yet to be seen. So,
yeah, Ariel could be a later pick here. We'll have to see if R2 decides they want to go ahead and ban that and apply that healer chokehold in this second ban phase. For now, you would think they'd want to try and pick up their frontliner, their tank at this point, and they are going to go ahead and grab ETC. Pretty much those are the top two in the format right now. If you don't have ETC, you try and get Muradin and vice versa. And I would expect a damage dealer here, kind of trying to not reveal too much about their comp before this ban phase. A lot of good options here. Lunara still on the table that can deal a lot of damage to Immortals. They could go after a mage and maybe try and chokehold the burst damage potential. So Li Ming still on the table. Kael'thas on the table, though I don't expect that one so much. A lot of options here for Miasma. They are going to go with Greymane. So good damage to the Immortal and kind of a hybrid range damage dealer that can be good at poking at the Immortal, but can also go in when the time is right to burst somebody down.
And he's very strong on the Immortal. It's sad to see that he's fallen off quite a bit lately. And I mean, this is one of his strongest maps now, so it's no surprise that he's coming out in this draft.
Yeah, I would say just a little bit of a surprise because he's fallen off so much. But, you know, if you got a good Greymane player, he is a very high skill cap hero. Knowing when to go in and when to stay back is something that a lot of people struggle to master. But we are going to see the Li Ming ban out coming here from Miasma. So right now they are not really worried about the burst game. Either they have one of those pocket burst damage dealer picks in their in their pocket that they're waiting for near the end of the draft. But it is going to be that Ariel ban out. So R2 doing a nice job here of applying that healer chokehold and denying that Ariel Vala synergy that we see so often used here, Reaper.
And I mean, seeing the Vala early, how could they not opt to take Ariel out? Being a strong pair as they are right now, and Ariel also pairs with others just as well. So
we'll have to see what healer they decide to go with. At this point, you've taken Malfurion off the board. Ariel is gone. Brightwing is a pretty good healer in general, but not very good on this map. Again, you don't get a whole lot of value out of that. Most of the rest of the healers that are left, you wouldn't really expect to see so much in the meta lately. Karazim is a healer that can get some extra advantage here on Battlefield of Eternity. All that burst damage you can deal out, but it is going to be Tyrande, so they are going to elect to go with the Mark from Tyrande to try and get some extra damage out on those Immortals. Very good hero for this map specifically. She's kind of a pocket pick that's reserved pretty much for Battlefield.
And I mean, it's a smart pickup. And with the Brightwing, they get the positives out of Polymorph and Greymane when he jumps in. But like I said, if they got to retreat to heal, you know, the enemy team can come up, clear out their Immortal, or even when the team fights quick in these tight areas. Yeah,
right now I'm seeing a lot of CC over on the side of Miasma, though. Muradin has a very good stun in that front line. Tyrande with Lunar Flare. They are going to go ahead and go with Zeratul, so we're probably going to see some Void Prison plays here, trying to stack that Rain of Vengeance along with the Starfall on top of it, so you can get a lot of those really big Void Prison follow-ups here, and they've still got one more pick to be able to follow it up, tailor-made to counter whatever R2 is about to pick up here.
And Zeratul needs to play strong and get, you know, those picks where maybe Void Prison's 3 and they can pick off 2 members on the other team. So he just needs to position and get his Void Prisons off properly.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that you see a lot from these Pro Division teams. They're very well coordinated. If you expect to see good Zeratul Void Prism play, this is the place that you expect to see it here in Chair League. 2 picks coming up here for R2. Still waiting to see a lot of that backline damage, but they could still use a frontliner here, Reaper. Kind of a pick for them, whether they want to go with more of a poke heavy comp or more of a frontline engage comp.
Yeah, very interesting, Jay. And I mean, there's not too much more left on the table that they could pick up. And it is a Tassadar. He's good at shielding. He can shield the structures, the extra shields to help Malfurion out with the heals and maybe take some of the Vala damage away. So very strong.
Yeah, they are going to definitely go more sustainy. Malfurion, definitely the best sustained healer in the game right now. Tassadar able to keep people up long enough for those precious Malfurion regrowth ticks to just go ahead and bring people back to life, while that Tassadar shield, it really enables them. The question is, who is the big damage dealer to go along with Greymane? Do you see possibly a Tracer coming out here, Reaper? No, it's going to be Illidan. How did I not see that one coming? I was not prepared.
Totally. But Illidan, very strong pickup, and I mean, Miasma's got to be careful on Illidan. But quick counter with Lily.
Yeah.
The blinds, who knows? Maybe she comes out with a water dragon on Illidan, but I'm sure we'll see the jugs for sure for that healing, that extra healing. Yeah,
with Tyrande, you almost think it's got to be a jugs, but those blinds really big against Illidan. We saw that a little bit in the tournament where that Illidan pick procced out a Lily response, and it worked. It worked on this map specifically very, very well. I forget which game that was. I feel like it was in one of the semifinal matches, but really, really interesting that we're going to see double support on both sides here, so we're going to see a lot of sustain, probably a lot more defending than attacking. Both teams are going to look to get an advantage before they go ahead and go in and deal a lot of damage. Who do you think has the better damage on Immortal right now?
Honestly, both of these drafts are very well rounded, and I mean it could go either way. And like I said, I think we're going to see a little bit more of fights than races because they both have strong racing potential on the Immortals.
Yeah.
But if I were to give it to a team, I think Team R2 could definitely put some money in on racing them to beating the Immortal down.
Yeah, it's going to come down to the team synergy and coordination here of Miasma eSports, whether or not they can compete in the PvE on this map. If they can get a good solid amount of their focal damage focused into that Tyrande Hunter's mark, I feel like they could compete in that race. But Greymane shreds this thing. ETC is able to give out that aura, to get the extra attack speed for Illidan and Greymane. Tassadar and Malfurion don't do a ton of damage to it, but of course Malfurion can get that upgrade to his Moonfire to deal extra damage to the Immortals, so he can contribute. And I think you're right. I think it's a slight edge to Team R2, but I really don't think we're going to see too much of the just straight up racing. I think we're going to see a lot more battling in the mid, the eternal fight here on Battlefield of Eternity in that mid area.
And I think Miasma eSports need to really pick up their stun game here. Like, they need to be on point with the hammers and the stuns from Tyrande and the follow-ups. They have to be strong on that if they're wanting to take away this game.
All right, so we do have all 10 players readied up. We are loading in here into the Nexus. It is going to be Battlefield of Eternity with Team R2 facing Miasma eSports here. Top 8 match in the playoffs for the Pro Division. Does it get any better than this, Reaper?
And I'm excited. And, we're almost come to the pinnacle of what everybody's worked here for and worked so hard. And it's going to be exciting when we get down to the final few.
Yeah, we're getting really close. Next week, we have those top 4 matches coming up throughout the week. And then next Saturday is going to be the championship matches. All 4 matches will be played on that Saturday. It's a really great opportunity for us to see the very best that Chair League has to offer in all of those divisions. And it's going to be really exciting to see this match right here. The beginning of a best-of-3 series between two very evenly matched squadrons. And they're going to be giving it their all here on again, my favorite map personally, Battlefield. So on the left, we do have Team R2. It is going to be Tipsnitrix on Malfurion. Stefanik on ETC. The Turk is going to be playing Tassadar. Shrimpy is going to be playing Greymane. And Saber will be playing Illidan.
And on the red side, we have Miasma eSports, Swollen playing Murden, Axe Max Tau playing Lily, Fox playing Vala, Tantro on Zeratul, and Starbaiter on Tyrande.
They definitely gave you the easy ones, partner, I'll tell you.
What a first name to work with, right?
But we do see...
Skip it in general and mumble it out.
Yeah, we do see both teams... Kind of feeling each other out in the middle a little bit. We do see a pretty strong rotation here from Miasma. They are going to go full in here on R2. Getting a lot of damage out on Tips there on Malfurion. But he will be able to get out. And right away we see the rotation to the top by the Turk here. Zeratul is going to be working his way on up. But one thing we forgot to mention here, Reaper, we are going to see some interesting play back and forth here between Tassadar and Zeratul. Interesting pick into that Tassadar being able to counter Zeratul in that cloaked presence, where he can reveal him quite often throughout this match.
I mean, Zeratul will have to watch his positioning because he can't get caught in that. I mean, or he can't make his presence known, or he won't get no value out of it. And of course, you've got Tass up there getting Condor's Pursuit. He's just looking to get some more mana in his mana pool.
Meanwhile, these two are going back and forth, though, in the top, getting very close to killing each other. The battle rages on in the bottom, and the stuns go out on Ice Shrimpy. He's going to go down here. Fox is also going to get killed, though, in the return kill here. Saber going deep in on them. Swollen getting very low. We'll have to Dwarf Toss out, and both teams are going to walk away with a 1-for-1 exchange in that bottom lane.
And they're both very thirsty, and Tyranda's such a great stun, and that's what they needed, but still the blow-up potential went back and forth on that one, so nobody's going to gain a definite lead out of this.
Oh, but we are going to see Tassadar going down in the top lane, getting a little bit over-aggressive there with Tonto, as he's able to take him down. Meanwhile, we do see the Immortals have spawned, and right away we see the posturing coming out here from Team R2, looking to go on the offensive, as they do start to push out here a little bit. Only 3 members in the defense, but Vala is just completely shredding this top Immortal, Reaper.
The question is anybody going to rotate up and stop her? Because, I mean, they're not winning the race as of now, seeming Vala got in there quickly.
Yeah, Vala went right away to that. That means they didn't have as much pressure here on the bottom, but it is going to end up being just a slight victory over to the side of Miasma eSports. It does look like both teams are going to rotate right to it. A little bit of a rotational advantage there for the side of Miasma eSports, as both of these Immortals are going down. It's going to be really close, Reaper, but it does look like it's barely going to be won by Team R2. They had the superior collapse there.
Yeah, and I think they have a way better burn too, so it's going to be interesting what Miasma eSports do for the next Immortal phase, if they choose to defend on this or not.
Yeah, kind of a standard choice here from both teams. Most teams will not go across the map there in that first Immortal rotation, or that second Immortal rotation there, to try and steal across the map at level 4. Very, very dangerous water. So both teams just racing. This Immortal's not going to get too much done, though. No Sylvanas, which was banned out right away. So no shutting down of those towers. It will get the front wall, but nothing here that Miasma eSports can't recover from.
No, and I think they were just feeling each other out to see who had the better burn. And I mean, the rotations could have been a little bit stronger on Miasma, but, you know, it'll change as the game goes on.
Swollen having to Dwarf Toss out there, getting very, very low, but we do see the heals are coming back in. This double support comp is being felt on both sides here with the sustain. They get a little bit of a isolation there on Axe Maxta, but he will be able to waddle away there. Lily never in that much trouble with that passive speed increase to be able to get out of trouble. And again, both teams just kind of picking back and forth at each other, trying to find somebody out. But ultimately, both of these teams are very good here. We are not going to probably see a whole lot of out-of-position players.
And it seems like they put Illidan in the top lane. He's just taken a camp, and I think he can sustain a lot better against the Zeratul.
Yeah, we do see Tantro doing a nice job of starting to clear up this lane, though, doing what he can to defend it. But you're right. I think Saber's definitely got the advantage, and I believe Miasma believes that too, as Axe Maxto will rotate up here to try and help. The blinds coming out on Saber will force him to retreat, but the camp's still getting a little bit of value. Saber actually jumping back in. A little bit of aggression there. But meanwhile, oh, we do see Vala going down in that bottom lane. The 3-man not able to sustain there with only those Tyrande heals. So that's going to be a nice kill for R2 as they have developed just a slight level lead at this point.
It looks like they're going to take their camp. Miasma hasn't backed off, so it doesn't look like they're going to get theirs right away. So it's going to be a huge advantage on the side of Team RT. Now Miasma sending another guy top. That was risky with the big push on the bottom, and they paid for it with their life. Vala.
Yeah, and we do see both teams rotating, and positional advantage for R2 here. Again, that superior burn is going to win them a fairly significant lead as we go on into halftime.
We're also seeing that camp slowly pushing in towards that bottom fort, and that could be big on the side of Team R2.
And we do see they are going to go ahead and leave Vala down in the bottom to work on the Immortal is Miasma. 4-man defensive squad here, but Saber is getting kind of deep in the middle of the team, does get blinded by that Lili, but ultimately a nice slide in here from Steffo as he goes ahead and goes in and gets some CC out. Saber doing a nice job of jumping in and getting the finishes here. That's going to be 2 down here for the side of Miasma Esports, and we do see they win the Immortal though, so a little bit of a trade there.
And I mean, Illidan just going in and doing work, and he needs to be stunned out and stopped on what he can do, but I don't know if that trade was worth it on losing that Immortal.
Yeah, we'll have to see how much advantage they really get out of this Immortal. We do see that 4-man rotate to the bottom to go ahead and try and clean it up here. Probably won't get much more than this front wall. If the front wall at all, there is no follow-up at this point, as Miasma Esports was just hurt a little bit too much. And we do see the immediate turn here onto Axe Max, so they are going in, trying to get the kills here, but ultimately they are going to have to back up here. The double support here is enough to sustain them to back off, and but we do see the race to 10 is being won here by Team R2.
Well, they did take the advantage on that, because you got Vala burning away, and they were just stalling out, and it was great for them. I mean, Team R2 is going to win the race to 10, but it was a good stall on the advantage of the Immortal, because it could have been worse.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Team R2 can really get out of this advantage, though. Miasma should have level 10 before this next Immortal phase comes in, so don't really expect to see a huge... But we are going to see them go ahead and press in to get this fort, this 4-man rotation to the bottom, while we got 2 members of Miasma up here picking up this camp. An interestingly timed camp as well, as level 10 is here. They should be able to just rotate up and clean this up here, Reaper.
Well, they couldn't even afford to take the fight bottom with them being so close to 10. You don't want to wipe at a point like this, putting them closer to their level 13 talents. They just need to play safe and catch up slowly but surely.
So we do see that ever-important Shaman camp is going to get instantly cleaned up in the top. And like you said, level 10 is here for the side of R2. We see those ultimates coming out. Nothing that Miasma can really do at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, they're just playing safe. They got to wait for those 10s before they can get any advantage on the other team, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. They know the Vala is burning the Immortal, so are they going to do something about it on this Immortal phase?
Both teams kind of posturing back and forth here. We do see R2 rotating a little bit quicker to it. Again, just leaving Vala in the bottom to burn. The Starfall is going to come out there from Starbar. It does not get a whole lot of value out of that, though. More of a zoning tool here, but Vala is getting the value in the bottom lane off of that zoning. Just able to take this down while the rest of the team zones out here. Reaper, a pretty brilliant strategy from the side of Miasma.
And a strong VP, and Illidan's going ham. He's going to slide on in there. He's looking for blood. He's got Tyrande, and I think he's going to back off Lili. He can't just dive in there. They're just going to push and grab the Immortal.
Yeah, that was a nice 2-man wipe yet again, getting Zeratul and Tyrande, getting that man advantage that they really feel like they need. And now they're just going to full-on head into the Immortal. But we are going to see a defensive attempt here. A nice cleanse coming out on Fox to get him out of that situation. But Axe Maxta will not be so lucky as Swollen. Also going to have to Dwarf Toss out of this situation with all 5 members of R2 here. And this Immortal going over to R2. A big team victory for them, as they also had that camp pushing in top this whole time, which is going to be making this fort easy pickings for this half-shielded Immortal.
And I mean, Malfurion got just back in time just to drop that Twilight Dream and stop anybody from using any abilities all and blowing out the other team.
Yeah, right now R2 doing a very, very nice job of prioritizing. They did see the Vala was still on the Immortal in the bottom, and so they went ham. They went completely ham in the top 4v5. And that ultimately gained them a very big advantage here. Level 13 also right around the corner. Should be enough from just this minion wave to go ahead and pick up 13. And just barely is going to be enough. So now they've even got a talent advantage as they push into this keep.
And I think they're looking for a keep, and they may just get it. Do we see aggressive on... Do we see Miasma get aggressive here, or does the keep fall?
Yeah, we do see the Starfall coming out, so a little bit of aggressive positioning. It does do a nice job of zoning R2 for the moment, but they are going to go ahead and go in around it. We see the Cups being popped in the back line, but also the 2-man Mosh coming out there from Stereophonic, and he does a nice job of zoning there. The VP also going to push back a little bit, trying to stall that out, but it is going to actually end up being ETC that goes down first. They're doing a nice job of defending, but the Twilight Dream coming in to make them very low, but they are able to clean up the Immortal. The keep goes down, but they are able to push Team R2 back from doing anything else here.
And they got really aggressive, and it was smart play by them. They do got the keep, so top lane's going to be pushing. Now all they got to do is stall out during the Immortal phases, and they're going to gain advantage because somebody's going to have to clear, or else they're going to have Winions on the core.
Yeah, ultimately, Miasma eSports has not really had an opportunity to get a leg up in this match, Reaper. They have been on the back foot for quite a long time here. No real structure damage from them so far, and they are going to have to find some picks and some good team fights, ultimately, to be able to get back into this one. Tomtro going in there on the Turk is actually going to miss that bomb, but... Tassadar, not exactly the hero that is the easiest to gank here in Heroes of the Storm, but we do see that camp picked up here from R2. It does look like they're going to go ahead and make a rotation. Are they going? It does look like they're going after that top camp.
And I mean, right now the camps aren't as valuable as, you know, getting the Immortal. Maybe on the side of Miasma, I think they're looking to stop the flank. They think they're going to come in strong, but I don't know. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, level 13 right around the corner here. It does look like R2 wants to try and force before that happens. They are going to go in on Swollen here. Nice cleanse yet again from Axe Maxta to get him out of that situation, but they are going to get the Cups popped here, and they steal the cap as well.
And Miasma had set up because they assumed that Team R2 would come in and try to steal this. They didn't get the job done on the camp quick enough, so they're going to fail on getting that out in the lane. And now look at the push in the top and bottom lanes. Like, somebody's going to have to defend this, but they're going to race for Immortals here.
Yeah, I think Miasma is stuck between a rock and a hard place here. They cannot let this push into their core, but they also cannot just give up this Immortal. Either one is going to be extremely bad, and you can see it, the team dissension. Look at the positioning. A couple members start to go back to try and clear. A couple members go directly onto the Immortal, and they're going to lose this race. They didn't have everybody on it, and that was just a little bit of a communication breakdown, Reaper.
Yeah, the call on that, who knows what happened in chat, but I think they honestly need to go for the Immortal burn first and then clear core, but I mean, that strong wave push, it looks like they could get the keep and possibly the game coming up on their level 16 talents here really quickly.
Yeah, if this keep goes down, that is definitely going to be enough for 16. And I'm pretty sure, Reaper, that there is nothing they could really do to defend this. They are going to go ahead and pick up 14 here, so they're only going to be a level down just for this brief, short window. But it doesn't look like they're going to try and force with it, with that Immortal in the back, which is a very, very dangerous entity. But 16 is picked up here for R2, and they do have the opportunity to finish. They've also got minions coming from the other side.
I mean, the Tash Shields and the Malfurion heals, and they got 2 divers, and it looks like they have nothing they can do to stop this diving team right now.
Yeah, Cups is coming out, but ultimately the core is going down, already down to 50%. And like you said, the sustain is too real, and Team R2 is going to go ahead and take Game 1 here of this best-of-3 series on Battlefield of Eternity.
I mean, Illidan's strong on the core. There's not much he can do to stop him when he's jumping around and flipping like a madman. He's super strong on the finish.
Yeah, tough to tie him down when he's flipping around that core like that, just dealing a ton of damage. The Immortal also on it there. And that's just a very strong game from Team R2. They showed their dominance and their assertiveness with this team comp. Illidan and Greymane and ETC doing a nice job of jumping in, and just in general, Tippins and the Turk on the back line there doing a nice job of getting those heals out to sustain and really enable those frontline damage dealers to be able to get in and do what they do best. There was not a whole lot of kills in this match, but there was a lot of pressure. They just did a nice job of playing the map.
And I mean, when you got 2 divers flipping all over your team, there's not much you can do to get into their back line to finish off the healers. And I'm not even sure if Rain of Vengeance and maybe Water Dragon could have helped that scenario.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, Reaper. I felt like it was more of a comp issue personally, and it's kind of a rough match.
And I mean, when you're down like that, it's hard to find ways back into the game, like especially on a 2-lane map where, it comes down to objectives and lane pushes, and they played it perfectly. They took all the camps on the map. They knew they were up a talent tier, came in, took their bruisers, and said, listen, we're taking map control, and there's nothing you can do about it. Whether you set up to check for the flank or clear the camp quick enough, we're coming in. We're taking this game.
All right, so map number 2 is going to be played on Garden of Terror. It is going to be Team R2 getting the map pick here. So an opportunity for them to end this series off quickly and get those 2 wins coming out here. We'll have to see if this map pick is the answer for them.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a Vikings band out here. By far my favorite hero and the best map for them. So I think, could we see a team capitalize on this or maybe kick it to the curb?
Yeah, we'll have to see for sure. I think you're right that Vikings is usually a priority on this map, particularly at the top of the game, where every single team does have a Vikings player present. And I'll tell you, it's a really rough thing to have to play against. This is a huge map where it's very hard to counter-rotate against those Vikings, and Merklord can just be completely hard to play against here.
And then you got the four-man gank squad who's usually roaming the map, getting picks, and making sure the Vikings get their soak and throwing them off the game. I mean, if you're not getting that counter soak or getting the seeds, you got one Viking you can throw in the terror who can go around and terrorize the structures. I would be excited to see some Vikings play on this map. I don't think it's going to get through, but who knows?
We'll have to see. Let's make sure to get you into the game, though, partner, so we don't leave you behind this time.
I don't remember that happening, Jay.
Oh, yeah. No, it must have been a dream. It was, but we do see game number 2. Teams are logging into the lobby. Draft links have been sent out. Should be starting in just a moment. I'm really excited to see how Miasma eSports answers to this. This is a team that is very familiar with Heroes of the Storm and competitive play in general. They know how these best 2 out of 3 scenarios work, and they definitely have the tools and the players and the fortitude to be able to come back here and force a game 3. I have no doubt about it.
And I mean, when you're playing on the opponent's picked map, maybe that's not quite the map you want to play on at that point in time either. You know what I mean? So it's hopefully going to be a different game here. Maybe we'll get that game 3.
Well, and also Miasma eSports does have the benefit of first pick, first ban, which cannot be emphasized enough in this game that, you know, having the power of that first pick when you got heroes like Malfurion that are, you know, reasonably believed to be broken, right? You know, there's maybe not the most broken hero we've ever seen in Heroes of the Storm, but you know, with when you want to ban out a couple of comfort picks, when you want to ban out something that's particularly strong on the map, it does let some of those really strong heroes get through that can just be a real hindrance in this game.
And I mean, with these top two teams, they've probably done their homework against each other to check their comfort picks, what they play the most, what maps they like, you know, how they play. So very standard at this high level play.
For sure. So I'll have to see what both of these teams want to prioritize here. It's like you said, Vikings is a very standard pick, but also global heroes I think are really important on this map. Anything that can get around to these different seed locations, any good camp takers are a really high priority. Siege damage is good. You know, we see a lot of Sylvanas and Zagara for split push potential here. There's a few things stronger on this map than the concept of being able to send the Terror to the top lane and being able to send Sylv and 3 other players to the bottom lane to just free push. You make your opponents choose how they lose.
Yeah, also Falstad, you get out of position on this map, Falstad fly in could be very strong.
Yeah, Brightwing also prioritized quite a lot here as one of the best supports because of the giant map size, as well as, you know, of course, Malfurion's big, but also being able to get the sustained damage for these long terror defenses can be big. Heroes that are really, really good at counter siege can also be good. We do see some hammer play on this map, though I don't know if we'll see Sergeant Hammer here. Same with Chromie. Chromie's ability to be able to actually hit the terror as a hero, unlike some of the other larger push objectives. So we'll have to see what these teams decide to prioritize. It should be interesting. These are the players that are really at the top of Chair League, so it's always interesting to see what they have in their bag of tricks.
I mean, who knows? Maybe we see an Illidan picked up, able to solo the terrors to get seeds by himself, solo camps, put pressure all across the map.
So we do see it is going to be an instant Malfurion ban here from Miasma. Miasma with that respect ban saying, hey, sorry R2, but we're not about that right now.
It was a strong play last match. So.
And Team R2 is going to go ahead and stick with that Alarak. So they may not know art, but they know what they don't want to play against here in Heroes of the Storm, and that is going to be Alarak.
Or something they definitely don't want Miasma eSports to get a hold of. Could be a possibility as well.
Yeah. He's very, very strong right now. I feel like Alarak is in a really, really strong place as that frontliner, but we are going to see the ETC pick up here for Miasma, very highly prioritizing them, and it is going to be the Lost Vikings instantly coming out from R2, and they're going to go ahead and pick up Li Ming, who is well believed to be a decent counter for the Lost Vikings with that reset mechanic. If the Vikings ever come to team fight against a Li Ming, kill one Viking and all of a sudden it's a reset mess.
And I'm not too scared playing against her as the Vikings, but like you said, if Li Ming gets in close and she gets Calamity, that teleport damage and the resets, oh, you better watch out, because that triple reset, that is huge.
Yeah, all of a sudden she's blinking through your entire team, dealing a crap ton of damage, burning her mana like crazy, but if she gets a full 7-person wipe, then she's fine with that. she'll just be it with a big fat smile on her face. But we do see Falstad.
Falstad looking to counter the Vikings. Flying up, maybe picking off a Viking. Perfectly good choice. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Brightwing pick up next here. Globals is a really great way to be able to counter the Lost Vikings. And right now we have possible stage dive. We have and then Dahaka. So there's another global. So Miasma was prepared. By the way, another possible global is we should probably be prepared for later in the draft. But could possibly be Illidan. But we've got possible stage dive, flight, and now we've got that brush stock from Dahaka. They're going to be very mobile.
And they're looking to get those globals. Very strong against the Lost Vikings. Of course, I've never seen the hero Bright Ping, but I would like to know her talents and abilities.
Very nice. You got me there. That's me in Hero League. You know, I just ping everything when I'm playing that hero. So it's Bright Ping. But
and it is your favorite hero.
It is my favorite hero right now. I do admit. Not ashamed or anything of the little tiny fairy dragon. But we do have ban here for Team R2, and they are thinking about this, going pretty deep into their time pool to try and figure out what they want to take away from this global comp. And it is going to be Brightwing indeed. So they're not looking to see more globals on that other side.
Well, they're going to have to look to pick up a comp that can freely rotate around the map and get solid picks on Miasma eSports. So the only other tank, if Miasma doesn't ban it, which they should, is probably Muradin. But we'll see if they opt to do such a thing.
Yeah, they've got double frontline at this point, so no reason not to... Well, other than maybe banning Tychus, that's actually not a bad idea. As you said, as you told me a couple days ago, Tychus is very, very good in that rotational game. So I got to credit Reaper for that because I'm stealing that directly from him. But he does have good, solid gank potential in that rotational team. And we've got double Warrior on the other side. So Tychus is a nice counter to that. You're right. I think that Muradin could have been a very good ban out as well. But I think them going with that Tychus ban also has a lot of merit there.
Yeah, well, you pretty much take away the Warrior frontline pool by doing so, but like the Tychus with the big health and the ETC Dahaka, very smart ban out with that minigun, not able to do the big solid damage against these two tanks. So it's going to be interesting to see what they take. Maybe they pick up Thrall for their giant killer. Who knows, maybe they opt for a Raider. You never know in this situation. Vala, possibly? I don't know.
Yeah, Valo's still active, but they are going to go ahead and go with Leoric here. So another good rotational hero. Does have the ability to get in there very quickly or get out very quickly with that Wraith Walk. And good slowing ability to be able to set up a possible CC whip from Ariel. And good solid damage from Li Ming to be able to feed those Ariel heals in those rotations. So we'll have to see what that last pick is here, but still need a healer and still probably need another backline damage dealer here for the side of Miasma eSports. They also don't have a whole lot of siege potential, so they could also use a big siege hero here.
So they're basically looking down to shut the Lost Vikings down in this map. Now, with Team R2, it's going to be interesting to see what they pick up for their last pick. Leoric, not the strongest solo tank. And do they think Li Ming's enough damage, you know? So two very hard choices on this the side of Team R2.
Yeah, it's really, you're right that it's a rough choice. They have a very mobile team, and they're going to go with Morales. So you talk about global presence. How about being able to just get in this giant ship and go to pretty much anywhere on the map that they please? I don't really know if I see anybody stim-worthy yet. They could end up picking up another pick here if they really want to go stim, but it does look like this is going to be full global, and Gul'dan with that level 20. Is it level 20 that's the teleport? I'm actually not a big Gul'dan player there, Reaper. I'll let you take the Gul'dan analysis.
Yeah, he'll be looking to come out the gates with corruption, like super strong, as long as he can finish that the quest tree off. And I mean, that teleport's stronger later in the game, or you know, you're probably going to see a Horrify come out. Maybe he's going to take the Rain for some push potential if they with the Terror. Who knows on Gul'dan, but very strong burst damage, and I don't think he's prioritized enough, and I think you're going to see a little bit more of it after seeing how he plays out
so
in the World Finals.
So we do see Samuru is going to be picked up here for Team R2. So they are going to go ahead and put their faith in Samuru, even with those buffs that have come into him. But also a good rotational hero, as indeed all will suffer. I think Leoric's got a good point there. But we do have, he's a good solid hero for those rotations because of his stealth. Also a little bit of extra pressure from those copies. So we'll have to see how R2 uses this. But I do think they have the ability to rotate quite well and be able to pick up these picks if Miasma isn't being particularly careful.
Well, it'll be interesting too because I haven't got the chance to play Samuro after the nerf here, and I mean you got your double vision and Leoric is the tanks now, but I think you're going to see Samuro trying to get on Lieutenant Morales all the time, so you're going to have to stop that from happening.
Yeah, they do have 2 frontliners to be able to peel for Morales, along with Gust for that disengage potential. I think that considering that R2 came out with this Vikings pick so early, I do feel like Miasma's done a pretty nice job of being able to... I am ready, but it looks like we're 10 of 10. We're waiting for Morales to go ahead and ready up here, but we're going to be ready just in a moment for these matches. But I do believe Samuru is going to be an interesting pick to watch out for here. But I feel like Miasma's done a good job of picking global heroes that can counter the Vikings, as well as a team with Morales that should be able to protect her in those team fight situations and still be able to be mobile throughout the map and have good sustain to win the team fights. We'll have to see if the dive potential is strong enough with that wall off from Leoric. Can catch Morales in some positions that she doesn't want to be in, but we'll have to see if the frontliners can peel for her in those situations well enough.
And I honestly think if Miasma eSports can't shut down the Vikings, Team R2 will win, but I think Miasma has the stronger draft. And I mean, Team R2, we haven't seen a draft like this ever, I don't think. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out.
The battle begins shortly, heroes.
For sure, and we do have the teams loading in here to Garden of Terror. On the right, it is going to be Team R2 with Tip and Tricks on Samuru, Saber on Li Ming. The Turk is going to be playing the Lost Vikings, Stereophonic on Leoric, and I Shrimpe will be playing Ariel.
And on the red team, we have Tantro on Falstad, Axe Maxta on ETC, Smolin on Dahaka, Starbaiter on Lieutenant Morales, and Fox on Golden.
You also talk about anti-siege on this map. I feel like when you think of anti-siege, usually you're thinking Chromie is pretty good at it, but Gul'dan is probably one of the least used heroes for that. But you do see a lot of it on maps like Braxis Holdout, being able to clear out those Zerg waves pretty well. Both teams going for a little bit of cheese in that bottom lane, but they're going to turn around and start to battle each other here. Starbar getting very, very low on the back line there, but ultimately both teams are going to be able to walk away from the situation without losing anyone. Though Tip and Tricks getting in pretty deep there trying to go after the backliners, but we'll be able to back off for now.
And there's nothing more exciting than both teams coming to bottom, and they're both working on a tower on the opposite end of the sides, and it was just crazy. But you will see the globals rotate up. Falstad will take middle, and Dahaka will rotate top, trying to take away that soak, but you're going to still have that 4-man pressure sitting bottom, and they're using 3 to counter it, but I don't know if it's enough.
Yeah, Axe Max to having a hard time finding any kind of angle to really go in here as ETC. Once he slides in, not sure if he can really get out. He is going to slide in and get Eric at the very least, so that's a good start for them. But at that point, Sabadar is completely out of mana as Morales is going to have to go back in that situation. But both teams are going to go ahead and start rotating 2 seeds, getting the easy to grab smaller seeds here, but Baylog going down in that mid lane to Falstad. But it's a nice push out here. They are pushing back the side of Miasma eSports in this bottom for now.
And it's great to first 2 picks. Eric, very easy to pick off. You got to be very careful with him. They did get the pick on him. Then they got the pick on Balog. So they're just going to quickly go in for seeds. They got to shut down this seed phase as quick as they can before the Vikings get their soak potential.
Yeah, doing a nice job of denying at least some of that soak and push potential from the Vikings. So good job by Miasma eSports there with these globals. They do go ahead and rotate to this Terror, and they should be able to get back to lane pretty quickly. But a nice invade here from the side of Team R2, being very aggressive, knowing that the side of Miasma eSports was still in the top collecting seeds. They go ahead and rotate out and grab that camp.
And it looks like we're gonna see Team R2 get in there, and they're gonna try and take away these sieges.
Oh, Swollen just barely able to walk away there. Caught right in the middle of Team R2, but is able to pass through and does a nice job of getting away in that situation. But yeah, the soak has been pretty strong here from Team R2, but nothing they can't recover from at this point. About a half-level lead at this point. So they're doing a pretty nice job here, our Miasma eSports, of responding to this so far.
And I mean, the Vikings slowly taking away. You see an invade in top, but Balog gets that bribe off, and he gets those siege on the camp, on the map. So
yeah, that was a nice effort there from Miasma, but just a little bit too late as the Turk was able to actually get that bribe off. But Axe Maxta getting very low is going to have to back up to give Star a good chance to get some heals out here. And they're doing a nice job with this 4-man rotate. They're not getting any picks, but they are at least pressuring enough to enable the Vikings at this point to be able to soak safely and to be able to get some camps with some pressure to get at least a little bit of siege damage out at this point.
And I mean, Miasma, if they can figure out where the Vikings are going with that bribe, that's a quick camp steal, because the Vikings aren't going to be able to do anything. But they look a little distracted, like not sure what they're going to do at the moment.
Yeah, the rotations haven't been super clean with these globals, but they are going to go ahead and pick up these bruisers in the top. Again, Axe Maxta just soaking up here. We do see Tantro is going to be able to scout out this camp take, but that's not just a Viking camp take. That's the entire team there.
And smart by them getting those camps on the map. They didn't get Merc Lords on the Viking. They went with the Eric the Swift movement speed, so he doesn't get picked off as easily, so he can stay in lane and get the experience they need from him. And
yet we do see Eric was indeed actually picked off on that bottom lane, though. He is going to be coming back, and Balog also going down in the mid. So we are seeing Miasma doing a nice job of being able to rotate around here and get those picks. Tantro also going to be able to bribe that camp up in the top left, so they're going to go ahead and get a camp steal of their own here.
And they got a strong push right now up in top, and I don't think the Turk can handle this himself. Olaf, he just doesn't have the damage.
Meanwhile, we do see the 4-man rotation here from Miasma. They're going to go ahead and pressure R2 out of that bottom lane, and they are also going to be able to clean up this camp on bottom and save their fort for now. Seed phase coming up here with 1 seed needed by Miasma. They did do a nice job of getting a little bit of a seed advantage in that first phase. We'll have to see how this next one goes.
And it looks like Team R2, like they're getting the advantage from that Viking, so they will hit 10 first and probably looking for blood come the seed phase.
Yeah, we'll have to see how aggressive they get here with those Vikings and that 4-man rotation. Ultimately, though, this is the kind of map here on Garden of Terror where you don't really have to fight. If your opponent come to hard engage you in one of these seed areas, there's always another one that you can back off and rotate to, especially with the globals that Miasma does have. It's one of the kind of annoying things about this match that can make it go on for eons. It's not very snowbally because the map objective doesn't really force you to fight.
And I mean, they're playing it perfectly with their comp. They know they can't just straight up and engage against a double front line. And, you know, right now they're just playing the map and trying to find advantages with the Vikings, since they don't have to have heavy lane presence unless needed for camps and, you know, other pushes. So they're doing it very nicely.
Right away, we see the Turk going ahead and taking one of those Vikings in the Garden Terror to go ahead and go to this mid fort, and that is going to be an easy mid fort pickup here with the defense coming in here from the side of Miasma. Swollen is taking this terror to push in. Level 10s have now been picked up for the side of Miasma, and it looks like they might be thirsty for a fight here.
We do see Horrified picked up by Gul'dan. We see the medevac drop shit, you called that, the more global presence. Isolation on Dahaka, Mosh Pit on ETC, and the Mighty Gust on Falstep for those strong engages and disengages.
We do see the two-man Mosh coming out. Is going to be able to catch a couple, but ultimately Fox is going to get very low and is going to be the first to go down here in this team fight. And it does look like that's going to proc the instant retreat here from Miasma eSports. They're going to have to back up without Gul'dan. They don't have enough pressure. Meanwhile, the Turk getting a nice job of getting some serious pressure done in this top lane with that Garden Terror.
You know what's very interesting? The Vikings have picked up Longbow Raid to be able to contribute with the fight, so they're going to look to teleport in behind the team, maybe pop that off, get a good position where they can't get that taken down. And also a strong pick by Li Ming taking the Wave of Force, knowing ETC picked up Mosh and knowing they don't have much counter against it.
Yeah, Reaper, it's almost like these guys know how to pick heroics that counter the other team. I know playing in Hero League sometimes, we're just not really used to that.
I mean, you gotta run with the punches, right? Sometimes you just don't get what you want.
Well, you can run with them, you can roll with them, you can do pretty much whatever you want. We do see the bribe coming out there, though. They're going to go ahead and send Eric to be able to sneak behind enemy lines and go ahead and pick up that siege camp. It is going to be cleaned up, turned on and cleaned up. We just see a bit of a rotation coming in here from Team R2, though. It does look like they're going to be looking to pick a fight over this. Level 13 right around the corner. They do actually pick it up with that kill on Gul'dan, and Saber is going ham. They're going to be able to catch Morales in that wall, but the medevac is going to get her out here. But Swollen and Tantra are still here. Gust available will be used to be able to save Swollen, and a nice disengage there from Miasma eSports.
And solid. You see ETC fighting to the end. He's like, I'm not sure if I'm picking this up. He jumps and the Jet gets out of there. Nice follow-up by Falstad disengaging there. Knowing they don't have Gul'dan, they can't really pick anything here. They're down a talent tier. They're just going to look to pick up some camps and clear up some lanes, it looks like.
Yeah, that's some very smart play here from Miasma. They realize they are a little bit behind, but that this match is far from over. No reason to throw it in that fight when they are already down Gul'dan. We'll have to see if they can pick this up, though. Ultimately, we do need to see a little bit better positioning from them in these team fight situations, especially when the Vikings are not present. They should have a man advantage. They should have the ability to compete in these team fights.
And the Vikings are doing a good job at getting aggressive on the other team's Bruisers, Siege, using that bribe to their advantage. And, you know, it shows in the experience lead, and that's the big thing. When you got the lead with the Vikings and you got them all over the map, like, you just basically make the other team stand around and do nothing. They don't know what to do.
Oh,
so hard everywhere.
Huge rotation coming in here from Tantro. He's going to go ahead and hit the Gust, but Saber is getting in really, really deep. Is actually going to get taken down by Tantro, doing a nice job of stepping between all of those hits there, slowly moving away to where he could get out of that situation, but is able to get that pick out on Li Ming. The plays coming out here from Tantro.
And it's crazy with the four-man rotate that not the whole team decided to back up a little bit, and Li Ming got the damage dealt to her. Yeah, the whole team there backing you up, and they just went for the four.
Yeah, that was a huge gust by Tantro to be able to isolate Li Ming in that situation, but the follow-up without any help to be able to take that down, that is going to give them a big advantage here. The Mosh Pit is only going to hit Stereophonic. The Turk does go ahead and walk in it with the Terror. But right now, Stereo needs to get out of this situation. Is going to get taken down by Swollen in that Terror. And we do see Tip and Tricks also is going to be able to get away there with those images, at least taunting Swollen for the moment. But they are looking to take down the Garden Terror on the other side.
And you can see they're delaying it out. They know the Vikings are taking Silk in the top lane, and You know, there's no way to counter that right now. They got their 16. They're just looking to defend and get rid of the terror on the side of Miasma.
Oh, and a very, very short ranged medevac here. This is only going to move a couple steps, but they do actually kill off the medevac. They collapse on it before it has a chance to really get released. Swollen also in a lot of trouble here. Saber does blink in, is going to be able to isolate there. The resets are on, and they're going to be pushing into this mid-keep.
And with 2 down, they're going to be looking to push hard on this keep. I don't think there's nothing Miasma's going to be able to do about it, but I don't know. They're going to back off. Play it safe. They know they got the advantage right now, and they really don't want to lose it.
Yeah, no reason to throw the game on that mid-keep push. The death counters are still pretty low at this point in the game, and they do want to get some of these lanes cleared up. But level 16 has been picked up here by Miasma eSports. So you make a good point that they had a small window there where they did have that pretty significant talent tier advantage, and they're not going to have another opportunity for one until level 20. So they may be giving Miasma one last opportunity to really come back in this match and this series.
The pressure with the camps, they're getting about 75% of the camps, so they're keeping that pressure on the map pretty heavy.
We do see Axe Max sliding in, trying to get a little bit of a pick there on the Vikings, but nice peel by Ice Shrimpy, able to get that whip out to be able to push him back a little bit. We do see the four-man pressure here in the mid, but full rotation here in response from Team R2. All 7 members of them are coming in, feeding a little bit of those stacks to Gul'dan. But we do see in the top lane, Tantro doing a nice job of defending this fort, trying to keep yet another fort from falling here. But 3 seconds until we've got the next seed phase, and both teams are going to be looking at another terror here.
And right now, I think it's just the race for 20, and that's what Team R2 is looking for. They're not trying to get over-aggressive. They're just looking for a pick or the possible race, the win to the 20. And
oh, this medevac, though. They're coming in hard to try and go around. They are looking to force, and here they come in full force. All the members are here. Falstad is also going to go ahead and fly in and get the gust out, but the Unstoppable from that Vikings longboat dealing a ton of damage over onto the side of onto Miasma eSports, getting very low, trying to retreat out the way they came. But the problem for them is that is in the direction of Team R2's base. They're going to have nowhere to go here, Reaper. Is this a throw?
And they came in, they needed to do something, and, you know, maybe it wasn't the best time, but this is crazy, just all over. Li Ming with the resets on the Vikings. They've got Dahaka surrounded. There is no way for him out of here. That is going to be a team wipe. Let's see what Team R2 does with this advantage, with this 20-second advantage on cooldown timers. Are they going to go for the seeds and play the map, or are they going to aim for the keep?
They could definitely get the mid-keep here, no doubt about it. Saber already well on his way to start to pressure and at least try and clear out the lane here. Only that front cannon up, but death timers are still pretty low. Gul'dan is already back alive. Falstad and ETC are coming in, and shortly behind will be Morales. And you're right, they didn't really do a whole lot with that. They cleared out that front wall, and the Turk is going to be able to walk right into this. Should be able to get the keep here with the Garden Terror, though, as we see the rest of R2 rotating up to the top to get more seeds, and we'll be able to score a second Garden Terror as they pick up level 20.
And that was the smart play. They knew they had 20 on the go. Miasma's probably not going to be able to see it if Team R2 picks a fight. They're going to be way stronger. They're going to get that other terror. And I'm thinking they're going to try and end this game with the second terror.
Yeah, still seeing the Turk going ahead and pressuring in that mid lane. And still a full 2 levels away from 20 here is Miasma eSports. That full team wipe put them in a real hole. They weren't able to soak. They weren't able to defend. They weren't able to get any seeds. That was a real downward swing for Miasma eSports in this match.
And look at them. They're getting aggressive on their side of the map. The Vikings, oh, he thought he had the bribe for it, but he doesn't, and they won't take the camp, and he just takes the one guy down and makes it easier for Miasma.
Meanwhile, Tantro having all 4 of those bribe stacks for that camp, so that's going to be a double camp pickup here as Miasma trying to do what they can to try and come back in this. Tippin' Tricks is going to have to go ahead and sacrifice those copies to be able to get out in that situation. But he's always got more sitting around in the bank there. The two frontliners are going to be walled off here. Tantro will be able to gust them away to be able to zone for them. 4 now. Starbro being poked by Saber over that wall. And we do see the longbow raid coming in. Not going to get a whole lot of value here, though, as the retreats coming out from the side of Miasma eSports, looking to wait out this longboat.
And I think they knew what they need to do. They were almost waiting out the bottom lane with that siege pushing on the keep. Falstad, great effort by the team backing up, letting Falstad fly in to clear up that camp.
Yeah, Miasma eSports playing very, very smart here, not being overly aggressive, but doing a nice job of zoning, giving their team a chance. But Swollen getting in a little deep here. Just as I say that, it looks like they might be a little overextended, and ETC is going to get blown up for his trouble, trying to get that big mosh pit out. It does not catch nearly enough. Swollen's going to be walled off here. We do see the Bladestorm coming in as we're going to see Tip and Tricks try and get the team out of here. Medevac will be successful, but Gul'dan is going to go down. Saber's going to be able to blink in and get the resets. That's going to be a triple. That's going to be a quadruple. And are they going to get the Mega on Tantro? It does look like he's going to back out, but my goodness.
Second terror, 4 down. This is definitely a game for Team R2,
game.
And they're going to take the series.
And R2 just playing very, very smart, waiting for Miasma eSports to overextend there. They do end up overextending in that situation, pre-20. That ultimately is going to cost them this match. But Team R, you got to give a lot of credit to Team R2 for being patient and being ready to take advantage when Miasma overextended there.
And they used that team comp to the best of their ability. Seeing the solo Leoric, they played that very nicely, like just insane. And they let Samru go through, and Samru looked very strong in that game still. He played him perfectly. The Vikings getting a great soak, 158k siege damage. I'm feeling like the other team really didn't have that in their draft.
Yeah, we thought maybe with those globals they might be able to counter it, but they're just so strong on this map, Reaper. It's just almost impossible to fully be able to actually counter them out here.
Yeah, and they did go for the globals, like, smart play on their choice, but like with Team R2 delaying all across the map, delaying camps, delaying objectives, just so that they could get the push in lanes, it was, they played their comp perfectly, and I thought it was great Vikings play. He didn't get as much as he wanted, but very solid, and he built them into a fight team comp as well, so he could pull out that longbow raid. He was just pressure all across the map.
Yeah, 2 very nice matches there from Team R2. They are showing themselves to be a team that you do not want to have to come across here, but they are going to be moving on to the top 4 next week. And I look forward to seeing if they have what it takes to make it to that final championship match and possibly be able to be the answer to topping Brawls Deep here, who we will be able to get to cast tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock p.m., we are going to be casting yet another Pro Division match. It will be Brawls Deep versus USC, so that should also be quite a lot of fun to watch here as this Pro Division tournament does continue.
And with them sitting 8-0, finishing in their division, like, just a strong team. Such great players, great synergy. It's going to be amazing to see if anybody can dethrone them.
All right, guys, well, that is going to do it for us tonight. Thank you very much for joining us for this game. Thank you to both the teams, Miasma eSports, coming out and putting on a great show for everybody. Congratulations to Team R2 for advancing on to the round of 4. And we are going to see you guys again tomorrow night. Brawls Deep versus USC. I hope you guys join us. Reaper, thank you so much for joining me as well.
It's always a pleasure, Jay, and thanks for all the viewers for coming out and watching and enjoying the games.
All right, guys, have a great night.